Hello, Grace staff. I'm Carrie Gosens. I'm here to share with you something that we did over spring break. If you are one of our teachers who are using a TV as your display board, you are going to notice that it looks different when you turn it on your first day back after spring break. It will now have something that looks like this. Your background will be black. There is a name across it. You will see mine says Riverside 1 because I'm at the Riverside office. At your building, it will have the initials of your building, such as SJB or STM, and then your room number. So you know that it is your television. That's how we will track what is going on. What we have found out through surveying you and through help desk tickets is that the TVs have started to have some issues from when we purchased them. If you remember at the beginning, you had the option to put a backdrop on, which would cover up all the ads and it would put a pretty picture up. That feature has left, along with some of the updates that were done on the TVs by the company itself. It wasn't something that we did. The company itself, the Vizio brand, can do automatic updates because the TVs are on Wi-Fi. And so with that, the backdrop left, you were then having your students exposed to all of those advertisements every time that you were not casting, you turned your TV on, the ads for movies and things that were not quite school appropriate. We heard that loud and clear. We also have heard from many of you through the survey and help desk that your casting is an issue, that it comes and goes. Sometimes you can't get to it. It won't show your TV for casting on the list. That also you sometimes have to turn it off and turn it back on, or it stops in the middle of what you're doing. So this is the solution that we've come up with. We have now gone around to all of the TVs in the schools, and we have attached a new Google Chromecast to it. And we took the TV off the Wi-Fi. So the Chromecast is the only thing that is connected to Wi-Fi that will allow you to cast to the TV. You'll no longer use any of the features off of the TV. It's all coming from the Chromecast. And by doing that, this is the setting that we can put up. So when you turn your TV on and you are on the Chromecast, this is what you will see. I'm just going to step back for a second to show you in input. If you're not seeing this screen, it might be that somebody came in and used your cord. We now have it labeled as HDMI cord, if we were able to, so that you know that that's where your cord is plugged in case you want to hardwire to it. But then the other HDMI should say something like SJB room 201 or 2 or whatever it is. So if for some reason this does not show up, all you have to do is go to that setting to get that to show up. So if I'm on HDMI cord, it's going to go here and it will tell you that there's no signal because nothing is connected to my HDMI cord right now. If I go back to the name of my TV or my Chromecast that's hooked up, it will take me back here and it'll look like this screen. So this is what you should see. We do have them set also that every time that you turn the TV off, it goes to the last input. So if this is the last thing you were doing on your TV was using your Chromecast, that's what will show up. If somebody had hardwired in through the HDMI cord, that's what will show up. Just have to change your input using your remote control. So your name is here, and underneath you will notice there's something. It might be hard to see on the screen, but it'll say show access code. If that is not white, it comes up black like this, it's not selected. When it's white, like I had before, it means that I had selected that and I can bring up that code. So if it looks like this, all you have to do is use your remote and use your down arrow. It will turn it white and then say OK on your remote. What will happen is a 3-digit or 6-digit code will come up. This is the code you're going to use in your laptop to do your casting for the first time. Now, we have it set up that you should only have to do this to access this TV the first time you do it in your classroom. It will keep it and remember it for a long period of time. We have it set currently at 1 month. We'd like to turn it to a year, but we've had a little bit of struggle where people are saying it's not working. So we've been just adjusting it to try to find out. If you're having troubles and it's not showing up every day, all you need to do is go to that show code, put this code in. It will remember it for the rest of the day. We're finding that some machines, for some reason, have a setting that they're maybe forgetting that code after you shut it down and all of those kind of things, or turn your TV off. But it's really simple to just bring that code back up. So again, you'll see this. You go to show access code, click OK, and the code will come up. That code will change if it's sitting up here too long because we don't want anybody else to try to get into your TV that you don't want to. You will notice when I am demonstrating for you on your laptop how to put that code in and cast, that long list of casting devices that you used to see, all the TVs in the school, you will no longer see those because none of them are on the Wi-Fi anymore, and therefore they will not show up on that list. The only things you're going to see on the list is something that is still connected to the Wi-Fi. So there are a couple of TVs in some of the buildings that are connected that way. They might be in the main sections of the building, those kind of things. But you're not going to see all the classrooms unless you have gone into that classroom, put up this access code, and actually put that into your computer. So if you move from room to room, you move building to building, you just put the access code in for the rooms that you're using, and those are the only rooms that are going to show up your list. So it's a bit much smaller list. The next part of the video is going to be to show you how to now take that access code that you've brought up. So one more time, when you come in and see this, and you see the name of your room and you show access code, again, if that doesn't show up, try the input button and get it onto this screen. Click to say okay to show that access code. The next part of the video will be, how do I enter that access code into my computer? Hello again. Here we go on how to get that code now that's on your computer into your computer so that you can do your casting. So when you're on a Google tab, any kind of a tab up here, you can do just like you did before. You would click on your three dots over here in the right corner, or this symbol right up here, if you can see it. It looks like a little black box with some little lines over in the corner. That is also a way that you can cast. If you haven't used both of them, they both work kind of the same way. So this looks just like, when you click on this little symbol, it looks just like if you click on the three dots and say cast. So you can do either way. What you should see then come up is, it obviously, as we have showed you before, it defaults to casting a tab. And you can change that down here to say you want it to cast screen, and it'll change that up there. Whichever way you prefer works, and that's not a problem. If you notice, my list right now is very small. I have very few TVs on here because I haven't connected to any of the codes with this device. So, or it has forgotten it because it's been a month since I've done that, like I mentioned earlier in the video. But what you should notice right here is that it says connect with a code. Now, we've had a couple of people who have not seen this section right here when they do the casting with the three dots or with this. Connect with the code doesn't show up. We found out what that problem was. You need to go up here next to the three dots, and that should be a picture of yourself or a symbol that represents what you're logged into. And when you click on it, this should be your school email. First of all, you have to be on your school email because they have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. So you have to be in gracesystem.org. And the second thing that we found out why they were not seeing that enter a code or connect with a code was because they were not syncing. You would see a message here that says your sync is off or it's not synced or something like that. You have to make sure your sync is on in order for you to see that message that says connect with a code. Simply click on that. Those 6 digits that you saw on that you see on your screen right now, make sure you're using the ones that are currently up there, because if it's taken you a while, they will change. But you would put them in, and typically they're 6 different letters. So if this is what I showed you just recently. You do not have to capitalize them; they automatically capitalize. But you'd enter that, and all you say is cast, and it will cast to your TV. What's really nice about that is once you do it, and I can't do it because I don't have the TV in front of me at this point, but once you do that, when you go back into your casting list, you will then see the TV that you just cast to. So it will be that one with the 3 letters for your school and then your room number. And that should show up on your list from that point on for up to a month. As we mentioned earlier, some people are not seeing that, and they have to do this connect with a code every morning when they come in. But once they do that throughout the day, if they cast and uncast, their device will still show up in this list. You will not see anybody else's TVs in the building, which will help prevent you from accidentally casting to them. Except, like I said, you can see here, I have two TVs that are showing up. These two are ones that are still on the Wi-Fi here at the office, and so that's why I can see them. The CAS 9312 is typically something else. That might be some kind of a speaker, Bluetooth speaker type thing, something like that, that could possibly be out there also. But make sure you're looking for the one with your room number. And don't forget that it defaults to that cast tab. Casting the screen allows you to jump from one tab to the next. It also prevents our students from being able to see if you are casting from YouTube. If you're on a tab, they get a little symbol that shows up on their Chromebook that then they can stop the video and read fast forward and those kind of things. And you don't want that happening. So casting with the screen especially when you're on YouTube, is a really good idea. As we mentioned earlier, we've had a couple of TVs who've had an issue. Those were not remembering the code, as I talked about up here. When you see your list, you don't see your TV in here. You just have to connect with that code again. The other one that we have heard about on the TVs is sometimes when they go to the input, or when you turn your TV on and it goes automatically to the input for the Chromecast, it'll say there's nothing connected. The solution to that very quickly is to go to a different input and then go back to the input that has your room number on it. And then the screen that I showed you earlier will show up. Please let us know if either of those two issues are happening to you, or if any other kind of issue, like if your TVs continue to kick you out in the middle of casting, anything like that. We need to find out when there are issues so that we can work on fixing those for you. So make sure to report those to the help desk, and we will work to make sure we can try to find a solution for that. Hopefully you will find that this is going to be a much better solution. You will no longer have to worry about having those advertisements you don't want, and hopefully the casting will work better than it has been working. Please also know that on your TV, the black screen with your room number on, if it stays up there and you're not casting to it for a while, it's usually about 5-10 minutes, it will go into what we call ambient mode, which is when the pictures, the scenes start to show up on your computer. So you won't see advertisement, but it'll go back to kind of like what the backdrop used to be. So that'll be another nice feature. All you have to do is then hit a button on your remote to get it to go back to that black screen with your room number so you can get the access code if needed. Hope you enjoy that. Let us know any issues you have or any more questions. We will help you with making sure that this is a smooth transition.